Welcome to this edition of Election 2008. I'm Demetrius Inestroza from Southeast High School. Our guest is Mr. Vic Roberts, a Green candidate for the U.S. Congress. What is your educational and experience do you bring to this office?
Well, before I get into that question, I would like to explain that, of course, I am Vic Roberts, and I'm an old retired coal miner, and I am a Green Party candidate for Congress in the Illinois 19th Congressional District. And because there are those who are curious as to why I wear my coal miner's hat, I wear this coal miner's hat as a symbol of the everyday way of life of the laboring class people. My every thought, my every action has been shaped and molded by laboring class people. This is who I am. This is what I am. If elected to Congress, to be sure, I, Vic Roberts, can and will best represent the interests of the laboring class people. As to the question, what education and experience do you bring to this office? Well, first of all, I am a graduate, 75-year-old graduate of the College of Hard Knock University. I also have a high school degree, but my main claim to education is the fact that I have been granted the privilege of gaining a considerable amount of knowledge and understanding through facing and dealing with the everyday ways of life. So to me, this is a very valuable education, and I am very proud to say that I have 75 years of this education.
No child left behind except for vote in Congress. What is your position on this educational law?
Actually, I really know very little about the details of the law. But what I do know, or at least think I know, is that this law is based on the premise that everything is based on test results. Now, to me, this is totally insane because there's a lot more about an education than test results. I mean, what does this student have to offer the community and future growth and all? I mean, there's just so many other outlets out, so many other questions here that's involved other than a few silly little old questions. So no, if it is based, as I understand that it is, on the premise that school funding goes because of scores, absolutely I could not go with that.
Okay. What is your position on the war on terror and the war in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Very, very good question. To begin with, war on terror. Is terror an army? No. It's acts of individuals. It's criminal acts. So how can you take an army and go and invade nations and say you are you're fighting terrorism? That's nonsense. You fight terrorism with the FBI, with the CIA. You do not fight terrorism with armies. So this takes you to the next question then. What do I think about Iraq and Afghanistan? Well, obviously, it was a horrible mistake from the beginning. But let's face the real question here. What is the invasion, and truly that's what it was, and the occupation of Iraq and of Afghanistan really all about? Truth be known, it was not what we were told, never was. Let's face the real questions. Why, or real answers perhaps I should say, why we are in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's about oil. It's about, and incidentally, even Bush himself has admitted it at long last, but it's not just oil, you see. It is also about imperialism. I mean, otherwise, why are we building all these big, enormous bases in Iraq if we're supposed to be leaving? I think it's pretty logical, isn't it? Mm-hmm. They're not planning on leaving. Now, what was Afghanistan all about? Well, here again we go into oil. You see, not that Afghanistan has oil, but they had the right-of-way for major pipelines that our multinational corporations wanted. And of course the Taliban would not go along with them. The Taliban wanted a bigger share of the income from that. And of course, being greedy, very greedy multinational corporations, they said, oh no, no, we'll just take it by force. And of course, let's face the truth, folks. Our government is being run by a few elite Wall Street bankers and global financiers who own and control not only our government, but they also own and control the controlling interests of our multinational corporations. Make no mistake about it. Our government is owned by a few elite, super wealthy, that I refer to as the organized wealth of the New World Order. So let's go and let's take this one step further. I mean, the war with Germany and Japan has been over for over half a century. So why do we still have troops in those countries, as well as over around 150 other countries? Why? Well, obviously it's imperialism. That's the logical answer to me. Imperialism. Now, I personally, to get back to my position on the war, I do not believe in war, quite frankly. And I believe that we should be fighting, and incidentally, the Green Party also takes the same stance, that we should work toward eliminating the causes of war rather than fighting wars.